Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gina Gardiner and Friends, a show where I share with you people that I know who are just incredible. And today is no exception. My guest today is Linda Fisk. She's the CEO of Leadership Global. She's a best-selling author, a TEDx speaker. She is a university lecturer, and she is passionate about connecting women to accelerate their success. Linda, a huge welcome. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Gina, for inviting me to be on this dynamic, really impactful program. Thank you so much. It's an honor.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Before we get started talking about our theme of today, can you give people a short history of how you've come to do all of these things and become who you are, really?
Oh, that's so kind of you. Thank you. You know, early in my career, I recognized the incredible transformation that can happen when you gather leaders to share ideas, opportunities, to overcome problems and obstacles and challenges together in a united, safe environment. And when leaders are able to come together and be truly transparent, be very authentic and genuine about the challenges in front of them or the opportunities that are before them, what I find is that a multiplier effect happens, that the opportunities for advancement, the opportunities to solve problems, the possibilities, the options are literally multiplied. And the breakthroughs that happen both personally and professionally can literally transform someone's life. So early in my career, I recognized the incredible power of community, but also how important it is to be intentional about creating your own power tribe, creating those relationships in your life with other leaders that you have very carefully and with quite a bit of consideration invited to be a part of your own personal board of directors, your own personal power tribe, being intentional and purposeful about inviting those relationships into your life and nurturing them and growing them is literally the difference between a very successful executive and a transformational executive.
You know, one of the things that strikes me, and we were talking about this just before we started recording today, is the difference between networking and having your own tribe, a tribe where you can not only be supported, but people know you well enough to challenge you and say, you know, you can do better than this. What for you is the difference between networking and creating your own tribe?
I think being in a community of other leaders that you know and you trust allows you to have an outlet to continuously learn and improve in a confidential setting. And getting exposure to new ways of approaching problems and issues, as well as new ways of leveraging opportunities, is absolutely critical. And what that requires is trust, having trust-based relationships. And importantly, this kind of safe, supportive environment allows members of a power tribe or a community, a leadership community, to not only develop friendships and networks with other CEOs, but to enrich their professional and their personal life. But I think importantly, you have to choose a leadership community that supports your unique purpose, that can improve the growth and profitability of your organization, but that really deeply understands what success looks like to you. And in that way, you get to benefit from the hard-won lessons and the experiences of other leaders that are cheering you on and providing counsel and guidance and objective advice and experience, real expertise to help you be able to achieve whatever your goals are, whatever your definition of success is. And I think that in that kind of environment, you get access to key issues, you get access to best practices, you receive honest advice and feedback from peers who have no conflict of interest. You can collaborate with them and actually work on the business rather than just in the business in a very transparent, authentic, and genuine way.
There is so much within what you've just said, and I'd like to unpick a few things within that. One of the things that struck me, and over the years I've done lots of networking, that it can be incredibly time consuming. It's almost what I call it, it's a busy occupation rather than a productive occupation very often. That you go to meetings and that you have conversations, but they don't necessarily lead anywhere. And what strikes me about the power of what you're talking about is that it's true collaboration within an environment where challenge and support go hand in hand.
That's it. That was so beautifully expressed, Gina. Thank you. And I would say, there's recent research that supports that premise that
Okay.
you just so elegantly described. According to a recent study of Stein and Partners, members of leadership communities, this isn't random networking, this is intentional and purposeful community that you create. Members of these leadership communities experience average revenue growth rate just above 5% over the prior year. Now, that's compared to an industry average of only 1.6%. So think about that. That's more than 200% faster growth. And executives who set aside time to attend leadership learning events and leadership networking exchanges, they experience dramatically superior operating results too. Again, this is not random networking. This is focused and intentional community building. Members of these organizations, these leadership communities, enjoyed operating margins of 22% in the prior year versus an overall average of 10%. So that's more than twice the level of profitability because these leaders are intentional and purposeful about being involved in learning-based, trust-based organizations. They set aside time to attend learning events and leadership networking exchanges that were based on truly solving problems and overcoming obstacles and taking advantage of opportunities that are in front of them. And listen, we all know that social networks are critical for professional advancement, but again, being very careful to choose those communities that support your unique definition of success is absolutely key.
Time, energy, and money are three finite resources. And just before we started our interview, I'm working on another book, and I'm on the section which talks about how precious those commodities are, and how if you're going to spend your time, you need to spend it, as you say, intentionally. And one of the
Yes.
things that strikes me is that by working within that sort of safe and trusting environment, that you are really maximizing the use of your finite resources, and you can see the benefits. The research demonstrates unequivocally that this works. So, Linda, you run an organization where people are provided with the very thing that you were discussing beforehand, a safe, trusting environment where people have the capacity to intentionally help one another to succeed in their unique purpose. What do you see as the if you like, the soft benefits of belonging to such an organization?
Yeah. And, Gina, you mentioned something earlier that I would love to dive into just a little bit too. You mentioned the fact that there are benefits to both men and women in forming a very intentional, what we call power tribe. And I
Absolutely.
will reiterate how important that distinction is. Research from the Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern University now tells us that men and women need very different kinds of networks to accelerate their success because women in leadership executive positions often face cultural and political hurdles that men typically don't. They benefit from an inner circle of close female contacts that
Yeah.
can share private, confidential information. And that's very different from men. Women face a much greater challenge in networking to find professional opportunities and career advancements because they do face many more cultural and political hurdles.
Yeah.
And they, much more than men, need to maintain both a wide network and an informative inner circle in order to land the very best positions and to secure the most advantageous opportunities. And the good news is that by taking a smart approach, women can continue to find meaningful advancement options by identifying and connecting with people who are connected to multiple networks. That can be a key strategy as well. But build a large network, but have a close inner circle of women that support you, that champion you, that advise you, and that encourage you. And that's really the difference, I think, between the networking opportunities for men and the networking opportunities for women that are truly transformative and truly impactful. But you were also talking about the fact that leadership communities have some proven and measurable benefits professionally, but there are also some tangible rewards personally too. And I could not agree more that for sure there is a lot of research that shows that being part of a power tribe definitely helps you advance your success much more quickly professionally. But being active in a leadership community and creating your own power tribe should be top of your to-do list because it also has personal benefits. So first and foremost, staying on top of your game. You get access to a group of unbiased, objective, and successful leaders, and they're going to support you. They're going to cheer you on. They're going to champion you, and they're going to work with you to solve any challenge you face, personally or professionally. And that is priceless. Now, I would also say that it allows you to grow both personally and professionally. You know, no one grows as a leader without the support of others. That's just true. And finding a community where you can meet other inspirational leaders and create lifelong friendships and be surrounded by people who are truly invested in your success is absolutely key. You might discover a new mentor, a new partner, a new employee, or a friendship that can take you to the next level. And then I would also say that if you're part of a power tribe, you should always be thinking about how you can return the favor, how you can add value to the other people within your network. As Zig Ziglar once said, you know, you can get everything out of life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. Plus, the only thing that feels better than accomplishing your own goals is helping others reach their goals. And so true success in a power tribe isn't just based on whether or not you are getting your needs met, but also how you are inspiring and influencing and impacting the other people in your network.
You know, so true. I think that one of the things that strikes me is this difference between having a group which is just about numbers, and I think that's one of the challenges in LinkedIn. You know, people will say, I've got something like 24,000 contacts, but actually, are they? Are they really going to have any impact on me? And even if I was reading an article which was talking about that the maximum number that people can operate effectively and meaningfully within is actually quite a small number. But the same piece of writing was talking about that in order to get that number, and they talked about 10 being your inner sanctum, 30 being your bigger group, and 100, but you need to know 100 people at least to find your 30, and you need to know at least 30 in order to find your 10. And I just wondered, in terms of how you see it, how within your organization, for example, do people find those who are well matched, who have the same values, who are going to facilitate growth for your particular focus, for your particular purpose?
I love that. What a wonderful question, Gina. Thank you so much. In Leadership Global, we actually combine research on the characteristics of an effective network, what we know about gender differences in networking, and how social networks affect our well-being in order to create opportunities for women to connect. So we have leadership boards, which really masterminds, helping women solve the biggest crises, challenges, obstacles, and problems that they're facing. We have trust forums where women can get deep quickly and really scale trust to tackle some of the most personal issues that they may be facing in their life. And then we also have wide open refer and recommend exchanges where women come together to ask for what they need and to receive what they have to offer. So it's just a really dynamic environment where women come ready to offer what they have to give and to receive what they need in a very open forum. But I will also say we have a whole team of member concierge who matchmake our members too. When a member says, gosh, I really need help with marketing strategy, then we take that member and we personally introduce them to women who do marketing strategy as part of their livelihood. That may be their area of expertise. They may own an advertising agency or a social media firm, and so we connect women that need something and that have something to offer through confidential, private connections. So, we know that in every single power tribe, there should be a co-striver, someone who's working to achieve something very similar to you, the same sort of sets of goals. And
Yes.
this person can be a professional or a personal connection. And maybe it's that you and your co-striver are both seeking promotions. Maybe you're both launching a new product or service. Maybe you both are developing an app. But a co-striver is someone that can relate to you based on a shared goal and is there to support you and to encourage you as you both work towards that goal. And another person that absolutely should be a part of everyone's power tribe is a super connector. They know everyone and everyone knows them, and they can introduce you to the right people. Having a super connector in your network is absolutely critical for future success because this person connects you with the people and the influential groups that you may not typically have access to. So it expands your connectivity and the dynamism of your own network. And then, of course, you need a champion, a cheerleader, someone who believes in you. And we all need champions in our
We certainly
success
do.
circle.
Yes, we do indeed. You talk about connecting women to accelerate their success, and I know that you're talking about that at a global level. What for you have been the differences post-pandemic? What are the things that have changed, do you think?
Well, I will tell you that now is the best time ever to really be intentional and purposeful in choosing a leadership community that supports your unique purpose because everything is virtual. Everything is available to you through Zoom, through virtual platforms.
Yes.
And the good news is that you are no longer limited by the people that are available to you geographically. Your network has expanded exponentially because you now have access to the most unbelievably inspiring trailblazers, innovators, creators, inspiring leaders all around the planet. So being part of a leadership community now, I think is so exciting because you can, at your fingertips, have the women that are creating incredible change available to you in the click of a button all the way over on the other side of the world. Now, through Leadership Global, some of my dearest friendships, some of my most impactful for relationships, and some of the women that offer the most inspiring leadership are on the other side of the world from me. They're in New Zealand, they're in Australia, they're in Asia or Africa or Europe. And yet we have a very intimate, close relationship because we see each other regularly through a video-based platform. And so now I feel like in order to benefit from a leadership community, you simply need to be committed to improvement. You need to embrace your own learning journey and value continuous learning and believe that every single person has got to invest in their ongoing professional development and personal relationships in order to reach the best and highest version of themselves. And so if that's what you believe and that's your intention, then literally the world is your oyster. You just simply need to make a time commitment and consistently participate in bonding with peers, and building the trust-based relationships required to discuss really key issues.
I think it's so important that people actually do make the commitment to be proactive. And so often in organizations, you can see my mum used to call them the washing up makers and the washing up doers. You know, those people who actively are engaged and want to support other people as well as receive, and those who are either passive or who just want to take. And I think one of the things that strikes me about the things that you've been describing is that very much this is a two-way process.
Absolutely. That's so smart to pick up on that, because absolutely, if you think you're the kind of leader that would benefit from joining a dynamic leadership organization and creating your own power tribe, there has never been a better time to invest in your success. Again, because virtual networking allows for a much more customized approach to networking with flexible scheduling, ability to access recordings, the affordability factor. Virtual networking can not only expand your leadership, but can enhance your influence globally. It can raise your profile, expand your thought leadership, and enhance your influence all around the world.
So we're almost at the end of the program, but before I ask you to tell people where to find you, what's your ultimate dream? If I had a magic wand and I could say, Linda, what is it that you would like to achieve? What would you like your legacy to be? What would it be?
You know, I recently did a TED talk talking about this idea of ladder economics. And in this concept of ladder economics, it's simply this idea that by lifting women up each ladder, each rung of the economic ladder, moving from physical safety to psychological safety, to being able to have equal access to jobs and housing, to being able to have their voices heard and be part of the decision-making process, to being able to ascend to positions of leadership in government, in
Mhm.
corporations, in communities. We would literally transform the lives of families, communities, regions of the world, and truly the entire world. So my dream is to impact women in such a way that they're able to ascend that ladder, moving from not just physical safety to psychological safety to a place of equality, and then leadership. And through Leadership Global, I think we are giving women access to funding, to opportunities, to inspiration, to learning, to growth, to all kinds of connections and relationships that accelerate their ability to be successful. And so for me, this idea of accelerating the success of women all around the world is not just lip service. It is I am fully dedicated to this, and I've dedicated my life to this.
And I would say to you that it's an amazing purpose and one that I think we need hugely. So where can people find you?
Gina, thank you so much. I mean, what a pleasure to be with you and have this conversation. People are able to connect with me on LinkedIn, of course. I try to be very responsive on LinkedIn. It is Linda Fisk on LinkedIn, or you're welcome to contact me through Leadership Global on LinkedIn. And of course, we have a website. You're welcome to contact me through the website as well. And that is Lead Her Ship Global. So leadhershipglobal.com. Gina, thank you so much for the opportunity.
It's been a great pleasure. I'd also love to know what you think about the show, and if there are themes or guests that you'd like me to have on the show, that would be great. So that's Gina, Gina, at genuinely-you.com. Linda, it just remains for me to say a huge thank you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And I know that your organization is doing such a lot of good. So just give your address for that again.
Yes, absolutely. It's leadhershipglobal.com. Thank you, Gina.
And thank you very much for listening. Do join us on the next show. Take care now. Bye-bye.